This story has covered the long history of the species Lacerta belongs to in humans, from the past to the present. It also mentions how the species has lived on Earth and how they have managed to almost go undetected by humans. Previously, it provided a logically sound answer to the big question of the origin of humans. Next, let's look at another big question: what is God?
Back to your and our own history. You've mentioned the race of the Elohim who have created our human race. From where did they come and how did they look like? What had exactly happened when they arrived? Are they our God?
The Elohim came from this universe, from the solar system you call Aldebaran in your maps. They were a very tall humanoid species with usually blonde hairs and very white skin. They avoided the sunlight because it hurted their skin and their eyes. This was absolutely unbelievable for a sun-loving species like us. They seemed to be intelligent and peaceful at the beginning, and we started a more or less friendly communication with them, but later they showed their real intentions and plans. They wanted to evolve the apes to a new breed, and we were a disturbing factor for them on their new zoo planet. At first, they caught around 10,000 or maybe even 20,000 of your simian ancestors, and they left the planet for some 100 years. When they returned, they brought your now more human ancestors back. Then they left Earth again for some thousands of years, and the primitive pre-humans lived together with us without major problems. They were just afraid of our aircraft and technology. The Elohim had taught their mind and enhanced their brain and their body structure, and they were now able to use tools and fire. The Elohim returned within 23,000 years 7 times and accelerated the evolution speed of certain of your kind. You must understand that you are not the first human civilization on the planet. The first advanced humans who lived at the same time with less developed pre-humans, because the Elohim had experimented with different speeds and stages of evolution with technology and speech existed around 700,000 years ago on this planet. Your scientists have not understand this because they've found only the bones of the pre-humans and some primitive cave drawings showing advanced humans and flying devices. This genetically advanced human breed lived together with us, but they avoided contact with my kind because the Elohim teachers had warned them with misleading purpose that we are evil beings and that we lie to them. Well, after some centuries, the aliens decided to extinct their first creation, and they accelerated the evolution of a second and beta test series, and so on and so on. The truth is that your modern human civilization is not the first on this planet Earth, but already the 7th. The buildings of the first breeds are lost, but the 5th civilization was the one which built the large triangular constructions you call Egyptian pyramids today. Around 75,000 years ago, your Egyptians just found that large ancient pyramids in the sand and tried not very successful to build similar constructions, and the 6th civilization was the one which built the cities which ruins you can find today beneath the sea in the so-called Bimini area around 16,000 years ago. The last creation of the 7th breed of your series was done just 8,500 years ago, and this is the only creation you can remember and to which your religious writings refer. You rely on archaeological and paleontological artifacts which show you a wrong and short past, but how should you know anything about the 6 civilizations before? And if you find evidence for their existence, you deny and misinterpret the facts. This is partly a programming of your mind and partly pure ignorance. I will tell you in the following only about your creations, because the 6 previous mankinds are lost, and therefore they should not concern you. There was a long war between us and the Elohim, and also between certain groups of the Elohim themselves, because many of them were of the opinion that the again and again creation of human species on this planet makes no real sense. The last battles in this war were fought around 5,000 years ago in orbit and surface. The aliens used powerful sonic weapons to destroy our underground cities, but on the other hand, we were able to destroy many of their surface installations and bases in space. The humans of your series were very frightened when they observed our battles, and they wrote it down in the form of religious myths. Their mind was not able to understand what was really going on. The Elohim who appeared as gods for the 6th and 7th breed told them that it is a war between good and evil, and that they are the good and we are the evil race. This depends certainly on the point of view. It was our planet before they arrived and before they started their evolution project with your kind. In my opinion, it was our right to fight for our planet. It was exactly 4,943 years ago, according to your time scale, that the Elohim left the planet again for unknown reasons. This is a very important date for us because many of our historians called it a victory. Fact is that we don't know what really happened. The Elohim were gone from one day to another. They vanished without a trace together with their ships, and we found most of their surface installations destroyed by them. The humans were on their own, and your civilization developed. Many of us were in contact with certain more southern tribes of your species in the coming centuries, and we were able to convince some of them that we are not the evil the aliens wanted them to believe. During the time from 4,900 years ago to today, many other alien species arrived on the planet. Some of them used the old teaching and programming of your mind and played against God for you, but the Elohim themselves never came back. They had left the planet for a duration of some 1,000 years earlier, so we expect their return one day in future to end their project or to maybe the seventh breed, but we don't really know what has happened to them to answer this question for you in advance. Your current civilization don't know anything about your real origin, about your real past, about your real world and universe, and you know very little about us and our past. And you know nothing about the things to come in the near future. As long as you will not understand and believe my words, I tell you the truth, because we are not your enemy as long as there is danger for your species. Your enemies are already here and you have not understand. Open your eyes or you will be in big trouble soon. If you haven't believed any of the things I've told you before, then you should really believe and remember this.
It is not surprising that the advanced extraterrestrial race, Elohim, is interpreted as what humans call a god. The well-known Sumerian civilization researcher Zecharia Sitchin has already mentioned in his series of works, Earth Chronicles volumes, starting in 1976, that humans are the product of extraterrestrial beings, including reinterpreting the giant race mentioned in the Bible as coming from the sky. In addition, from the already deciphered Sumerian archaeological artifacts, stone tablets, the lifespan of the first few rulers of mankind is calculated in units of 10,000 years. Even without looking at the level of technological development, just such a long lifespan is enough to be considered a god by humans. Zecharia Sitchin mentions that the appearance of the Sumerian civilization is as difficult to explain as the Cambrian explosion of species, based on known archaeological findings. From the beginning, this civilization had the foundations of modern civilization, including calendars, astronomy, legal systems, farming techniques, art, entertainment, etc., completely contradicting the theory of racial evolution. As can be expected, the above interpretations of this civilization will be criticized by colleagues in archaeology because the theory is too far-fetched and there may not be enough evidence to prove it. In Genesis 1 verse 27, KJV, you can find a verse where God created man in his own image and placed him in the Garden of Eden. These are also just theories without enough evidence. Which one do you choose to believe? Or do you know any other theories? Therefore, Lacerta's interpretation of extraterrestrial beings as gods has already been proposed in the past, and in terms of the sequence of time, Lacerta's statement is apparently not original, but rather a different version of Professor Sitchin's theory. Another possibility is that it is simply two different ways of describing the same fact. As for the mention of gods potentially ending human civilization for the seventh time, this, along with the biblical account of the Noah's Ark flood event and the Earth Chronicles volumes mentioning that the gods debated whether humans should continue to exist, are all different possible descriptions of the same event. If you enjoyed this film, please share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on the upcoming exciting program. Thank you for your anticipation.